The final from Jordan Hare is Auburn 42, Ball State 3. Auburn improves to 2-0 on the season. A pretty good showing. Guys, we're going to give you some time to get in here for this live post game reaction. Definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts. We will definitely be reading your comments. So please like this video. Please comment, as we will definitely get to your comments in just a moment. But to reiterate, Auburn defeats Ball State 42-3, a little bit of a lower scoring game than many people predicted. Auburn definitely was fully capable of scoring more points, but this was a game where Auburn wanted to work on the passing attack, particularly pushing the ball down the field. And it appears as though, similar to what we saw last week with Baylor, Ball State was trying to eliminate a lot of the downfield passes. Auburn was able to take advantage with the short to intermediate passes, which we saw a lot of. And as a result, Jackson Arnold really ended up having a good night from statistically in terms of going 24-28, 251 yards, averaging 9 yards a pass, 3 touchdowns in this game. Had a very strong showing in the passing attack, although it seemed at points in this game where drives began to stall out because, again, Jackson Arnold wanted to push the ball down the field. Auburn was trying to push the ball down the field, and it just didn't seem as though they were able to do that. We saw him get sacked a few times. We saw him holding onto the ball, waiting for some of these long developing routes to develop. And so as a result, Auburn went into the half up 21-0. Not a lot of points. We fully expected Auburn to have more than that at the half. Auburn added on another 21 in the second half. Jackson Arnold, again, had a strong showing once it was all said and done. A good showing from the receivers. Cam Coleman had the most catches with 77 yards. Eric Singleton had 2 scores in this game, 4 catches for 64 yards. He was a big part of the offense. It was really good to see him actually come back on the field. He came up kind of limping or gimpy after getting hit near the sideline in the second half, but to see him catch a screen to run in for the score to go up 35-3 was encouraging to see there. So it appears as though Eric Singleton is good. Horatio Fields had 6 catches for 51 yards. Malcolm Simmons had 4 catches for 37 yards. And you had a few other guys have catches, 1 apiece. The leading rusher in this game, Jeremiah Cobb, 11 carries for 121 yards, 2 scores. What a night for him. This is his first 100-yard rushing game. Been very excited and happy for Jeremiah Cobb because, again, the concern for Jeremiah Cobb was, can he run between the tackles? Clearly, this is a guy who is dangerous when he gets to the edge, a guy who can definitely catch the ball in space and make plays. But seeing him run between the tackles the way that he was able to was definitely encouraging to see the past 2 weeks. Another strong performance for Jeremiah Cobb. And it was good to see guys like Darrell Robinson get in there. He had 2 carries to 54 yards. His biggest carry was the 54-yarder to go up 42-3. I was wondering what Darrell Robinson was because we didn't see much of him, and I figured we would have seen more of him given that Damari Alston was not going to play tonight. So we saw him late in the game, and he was able to pull out a huge run. So happy to see that. I'm going to bring up Ike at this point. Ike is now somewhere stationary. You were there covering the game. What were your thoughts on what you saw tonight from Auburn?
Overall good. There's definitely some things that need to be improved, but I think a thing that people need to realize in terms of what happened tonight was they were basically doing scrimmage reps. I think next week is going to be a little bit different because of the level of the competition and the type of athletes that they're going to go up against. But it was not a game in which they were trying to necessarily dominate. They were trying stuff out. Like they were trying different formations, different combinations of guys doing stuff. And it was really about trying to get more rhythm in the passing game. But there are some things for sure that they can go and clean up. And you get out of this game with no injuries and a defense that looked very hungry out there. I'm not disappointed with this. I wanted them to score more points. but the defense did what I needed them to do, which is keep them under single digit. They really pitched a shutout. If we gonna keep it a buck, that was a fumble. But
Right.
I ain't gonna split no hairs on it. But that one field goal they got was a gift from the officials.
I agree. They were well on their way to pitching a shutout here. Do you think that the coaching staff are at a good place with what they saw in the passing attack, given that Jackson Arnold did not turn the ball over? He was 24-28, so he was pretty much on target with his throws. But I think the timing of being able to go off of his first read on some of these long developing plays and going to guys who are open, we saw that on a critical third down where I believe he took a sack on that instead of throwing the ball to Eric Singleton, who was open. Do you think that those are some of the things that the coaching staff has to work on so that even if the first read isn't there, Auburn is still able to pick up yards through the air because Jackson Arnold's coming off of his first read?
Yeah, I definitely think the message to Jackson Arnold is just going to be get to your check down, right? Like if it's not there, stop waiting. Like and even if you realize there's a second window for this to maybe come open, like get off of that read more quickly and get to your second one. But a portion of that, in my opinion, again, I think is because he felt like, and there were times where he was back there with all day to throw. He felt like he was kind of going through the practice rep motions as opposed to like, yo, this ain't yellow jersey time, bro. Like they're gonna hit you if you don't get rid of this football.
Right.
What I'm worried about with that is that hopefully he doesn't speed the clock up the other direction, right? But it was clear that he was given an imperative to not take off running too much, right? Not to go to your first read and then take off running, like try to be patient with your progressions. But I think he took that a little too far the other direction. So I think that the issue with Jackson Arnold is trying to find that sweet spot of not doing too much with your legs, not being too comfortable in the pocket where you don't have the right clock.
Yeah. And again, I think this was the perfect game because Ball State does not have much of an offense. Like there's a reason why this team could not score at all on the road against Purdue. They showed again why there wasn't really a threat to score. Again, it took a premature whistle on a play that was clearly a fumble to put them in scoring position for them to even get 3 points.
Watching the play live, I was confused. I was just like, oh, we got the ball back. It's a fumble. Wait, what? They're saying, what? For progress. What do you, how?
And
like he's literally, right. He's literally turning away to try to get additional yardage.
He's still fighting. Yes.
Right. And it's not like he was 2 or 3 dudes standing up. He had one dude draped around his legs and he's turning away from that dude. And then the rest of the pile. I was like, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But what was crazier about that is the play before that where the fumble happened, or the 2 plays before that where the fumble happened, because they had a pass play to get down within the red zone to get there. They freaking said initially it was ruled incomplete, did a whole other play in which they called delay of game, then came back and reviewed the previous play and said the call on the field was a fumble. And I was like, no, you literally said the call on the field was incomplete. If it was a fumble, we'd have been already with Ball State with the ball rather than you running it. I was just like, yo, what are we doing right now? That jump was crazy. I just like, I don't even understand. I don't think I understand football anymore. I'm confused.
Yeah.
You let a whole other play go by in which you called a penalty. Again, I guess because it was a dead ball penalty, they had a chance to review the previous play, but I've never seen anything like that before.
It seems as though defenses are terrified of Auburn receivers getting behind them. It almost last week Baylor said you can run, just run the ball. Do not throw the ball behind our safeties.
Yeah.
Ball State said a similar thing, but they were like, you can pass. Lost Ike real quick. Think y'all can hear me now. But yeah, we'll I can back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Okay, so it was everybody's audio was out. I was like, okay,
Mine went out. Yours went out. Yeah, correct.
okay.
Crazy. Also, too, it just seems as though in the passing attack there was this need to be a little greedy in the passing game, whereas last week in the running game, Jackson Arnold was making right decision after right decision. And it almost seems as though one of the things that I'm encouraged about Ike is that this kid is not turning the ball over.
No, he's protective of it right now. I mean, he's fumbled the ball, right? Like,
sure,
that again, and that is the big thing that everybody said is an issue with his ball security, as far as taking shots in the pocket and not being able to hold on to the football. He hasn't done it while he's running, but when he's getting sacked, he's not being protective of the football in that way. And that's something that he's definitely going to have to be cognizant of. Luckily, they haven't lost any of those fumbles yet.
Correct. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Overall, again, I haven't been like over the moon about either of these performances in either of these games. There's been something to look at, but I'm gonna have to nitpick to be mad at 42-3. I really will.
Yeah. And again, one of the things that I mentioned is that Auburn very well could have scored more points than what they did. This was an opportunity for them to really work on the drop back passing attack. And I think the coaches put some things on tape that they can coach some bad habits out of this passing attack, work on some of the pass pro. There's some things that definitely need to get cleaned up there. But yeah, I think the coaches, hopefully they're pleased with what they saw overall. Let me ask you this. Let's switch to the defensive side of the ball. Auburn's defense did their job. This was the type of performance that you wanted to see. And it almost seems like Sylvester Smith took last week very personal.
Look, I watched
very personal.
I watched countless hours of Auburn film from last year. I watched film from last week. I have never seen Sylvester Smith play like that. I don't know what got into Buddy tonight, but bring that because he was everywhere, and every time he showed up to the football,
it was violence.
He had bad intentions, bro. I was like, yo, what? Who is this? Like, literally every time the hit happened, I was like, who is that? And they showed the numbers, like, what? And then he did it again. I was like, bro, where has this been? He was downhill, and he was, oh my goodness. I was like, bro, this dude is really out here cleaning people up, dog.
That hit inside the 10?
Man, he hit him so hard, they thought he targeted. It's like, that's got to be legal. It got to be illegal for you to hit somebody.
Perfect form, but because of the impact, jerked his head back as though it was a contact to the head. Like it was a nasty.
It's like, nah, you can't. That can't be legal. You can't hit somebody that hard and it be legal, right? They had to go back and look at it again and be like, no, you just got your clock plate, bro.
Just buffed and clean.
That's the kind of hit that turns people into basketball players right there. That one right there. That's the one. It's like, you know what? I think I want to hoop, bro. I'm good on this.
Or I just want to get my education. I just want to get my education and go on to live a life.
Fake an injury and just be on scholarship chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that was. He had a very strong game. He was Auburn's leading tackler. Should have been with hits like that. Xavier Atkins was right behind him. He had another solid performance. How are you feeling about the linebacker position with Xavier Atkins appearing to be a bit of a revelation of sorts? What were your thoughts about that position group?
I mean, they did well tonight. Again, I think they were so downhill tonight, and they were. Yeah. This was a much more violent defensive performance, dominating the line of scrimmage. They were blitzing. They were covering well. Like this was the type of performance that you hope to see. Now, again, I get it's Ball State, right? Like, and so I'm not going to make too much of it. But that defense needed tonight to be able to get a little bit of swagger back and be able to say, okay, we can go out there and we can dominate another team in this way. They just need to carry that over to another week's performance against a team, again, in South Alabama that's going to come in here upset-minded. And they need the defense to be that level of tenacious for sure.
Yeah, definitely pleased with what we saw there. Auburn was able to get, I think I saw 6 sacks on the night. Again, they brought a lot of pressure
Something like
and
14 tackles for loss, which is crazy.
yeah, they made sure Kyle Kelly had very little opportunity to work in the pocket. That
Yeah,
pocket was
6
in
sacks,
danger.
14 tackles for loss tonight.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I think the defense did a very good job tonight, holding them to 3 points. Total yards on this game, Ike, Ball State had 68.
They had negative rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
They did.
like,
-3 to be exact. -3 to be exact. Yeah,
um,
they couldn't, and I think their running back, uh, other than Cal Kelly, but was Quay Ashley had 12 carries for 10 yards. Very dominant. Auburn, I think, has what? Has allowed, they haven't even allowed 100 yards rushing total
on the season. Yeah,
on the
no,
season. Like
no.
this front seven is pretty stingy, pretty nasty. I'm pleased with Auburn's run game so far.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on what next week looks like. I don't know if you've seen much or have even looked ahead to South Alabama and what to expect with them, but you got to like how this defense performed going into week 3.
No, I haven't looked at South Alabama yet, but that will be the first. So other than reviewing the film from tonight, like that's all I'll be doing between now and when we get back together on Wednesday, so I can have a more comprehensive idea. But again, South Alabama's different level of athlete, different kind of team. So it's going to be a more formidable opponent. But here's what I will say. I don't think they have better athletes than Baylor does. They have better athletes than Ball State. They don't have better athletes than Baylor. The question is, does South Alabama have a better defense than what Baylor does? Because if Auburn can continue to run the ball the way, like they didn't have very many breakaway runs versus Baylor, but they had several tonight, right? And so you can find the balance there where you can run the ball and you basically put a lid on Jackson Arnold's legs as part of the run game. So again, that's why like you could be disappointed in the outcome of this game, but Hugh Freeze basically told them, or whoever, listen, we're gonna take this portion away tonight. You can't be a runner. Figure out another way to go get points, and they did. They to the tune of 42 points without one of the more dangerous portions of that weaponry, which is Jackson Arnold's legs, and
Right.
not a lot of RPO stuff being run. So they took away the main stuff that they normally do and scored 42. So anybody disappointed in saying, all right, we're going to take the front 2 pages off of your playbook and make you run from pages 3 and on, and you still score 42 in a game, then I think you're being hypercritical.
Right. Right. And what I like is, again, it's Ball State, but being able to run other aspects of your offense and you're still able to move the change. You're still able to move the ball. You're still getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers and they're able to make plays. So I think that's encouraging to see. Turnover battle. Auburn had his first turnover of the game, the fumble by Ryan G. But then there was a turnover by Ball State. Auburn probably should have won the turnover battle in this game. We already talked about why that was, but thoughts on, before we get to the comments, Ike, thoughts on Deuce Knight getting into the game when he did and what you saw out of him?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't see much out of Deuce Knight because I was in transit, so I was listening to that. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and watch that film. But what I heard from him was some more mobility than I think of course, the guy running around in high school, that's be anticipated. You're one of the better athletes on the field, but he still looked like one of the better athletes on the field in this game. Again, I get it's Ball State, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But he too had some ball control issues, right? Like they've got to figure out how to get their quarterbacks to hold on to the football when they're being pressured. And he was a little juiced up too for the throws. He got to work on your off-speed pitch, young man.
Yeah, and I think that'll come. I think it was good him getting out there and getting a feel for the game. He looked like someone who was trying to feel his way around, find his way, and kind of settle into the game. Obviously, to your point, he was very, juiced up and excited to be out there. Happy for the young man. He made a couple of plays. I think by the third drive, he was beginning to settle in a bit and was hitting people. That's kind of what you have to see with kids like that. The young kids have to. I mean, again, you had he lost the ball twice. Ryan G lost the ball. Like the freshmen have to hold on to the ball. I think that's a concern with some of those guys. You typically see that with some of the younger kids, but we definitely need to. As we see Deuce Knight, good to see him get out there. Would have liked to see him get a few more series than what he did, but it was good to see him get out there and play. All right, we're going to get to some of you guys' comments real quick. We're going to start with Ben Bloodworth. Says, where do we submit performance reviews for the refs? Thoughts on that, Ike? We've already kind of talked about it, but your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, that sequence was ridiculous. And it's almost as if they felt bad for Ball State. And it was like, man, come on, give him the ball back, bro. It's like when your dad is watching you and your little brother play, or like, you know how sometimes you watched the Dream Team documentary from the first one, right?
Yeah.
And or was it, I forgot which of whether it was the Bulls Last Dance or the Dream Team, but like basically they were Jordan was talking about how like the coach was purposefully like calling stuff on them to give the other team advantages, and it was pissing them off. It felt like one of them situations where it was like, no, he ain't fumble for real. Give him the ball back. And you're like, what? No, that's a catch. That's a catch right there. And it's like, bro, come on. Nope, face mask. Nope. They get the ball. They first down. They get the ball back. And you're like, come on, bro. This is not. You're not.
It was almost like, guys, they didn't score last game. You're really going to do this? Are we really?
They're so close. Be nice. let them score. Okay. Oh, you're not going to let them score. Fine. No penalty. Flag on the play. No.
Right.
No. It's fourth down. They still have the ball.
That was not a fumble. We blew the whistle.
I was like, yo, y'all tripping, bro. And listen, y'all almost got that boy killed.
Right.
They was trying to kill that quarterback because they was mad. Y'all almost got that boy killed. You need to calm down. Don't do that.
You definitely got that receiver killed when Sylvester Smith hit him at that.
That receiver
definitely got him killed.
Took the brunt of all that foolishness, bro. Sylvester Smith was like,
yeah, you keep playing around, refs, you're gonna get somebody hurt.
Okay,
all right.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Okay. They ball right. Okay.
Right. Mercy, been a member for 13 months. Appreciate you, man. Said the refs really did not want us to have a shutout. That's definitely what it seemed like, because Auburn was again, Ball State was not moving the football, and this was their best chance at it. And again, a premature whistle, because they on the replay. I didn't hear the whistle at first, Ike, but on the replay, I could hear a ref from somewhere blowing the whistle. And if I had to guess, it was a ref that really couldn't see what was going on, and it almost looked like forward progress from where he was standing, perhaps. But if you're looking at it, the carrier is still fighting for yards, and was well on his way to getting more yards, but he just lost the football. But again, no need to rehash that. We saw Darius Lee with a super chat. Appreciate you, man. Says the ref scored 3 for Ball State. Jackson was efficient. That's all we can ask for. Hugh mentioned putting Arnold in bad spots with deep play calls. Interesting. I think that's probably what he was saying when he was talking with.
I don't know about necessarily bad spot. Again, I have to go review it, because if it's deep shots without a check down, then maybe. But you still, as a quarterback, can throw the ball away, right? Like that's always an option. So get the internal clock where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Escape the pocket, throw it away.
Agreed. Dwayne Logan says the refs cost me my shutout. Everybody mad about the refs. It's been a long time. We earned a shutout with that fumble. Thanks for all y'all do. War Eagle to you, Dwayne. Glad you enjoyed the game tonight. So Nina says, who was the announcers comparing to Cam Newton? I didn't see anyone looking like Cam. The announcers were not the best. Let's just start.
Wait a minute. No, for real, in real life, who were they comparing? You know what? Let's just stop. I don't care who they were comparing to. Can we please have a referendum on anybody comparing anybody to Cam Newton ever again. There is not another human being on this planet that is built like Cam Newton. Like, that's not real. Stop. Like, you are doing a disservice to every other athlete that suits up at quarterback if you're going to compare him to an anomaly and a freak of nature. Stop doing it.
Yeah. It's they I think they were speaking to the fact that this could have one of those seasons where he can compete like how Cam Newton had Auburn competitive. And I'm like, Auburn has had competitive seasons since Cam Newton. Like, you didn't have to go all the way back to, again, one of the most
accurate comparison would be Nick Marshall. Because just stop, bro. Like, I don't want to hear nobody else get compared to Cam. Like, it makes me mad. Y'all try to do this with KJ Jefferson. You see what that happened with that man right there. They was starting to do it with DJ Lagway. Like, stop, bro. 6'6", 250 pounds running like that is not replicable. You can't just do that again. It's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Thanks for the comment, Sonina. Appreciate you.
He is more Nick Marshall / Bo Nix than he will ever be Cam Newton. Ever.
Agreed. Dustin Pace asked, what was the call on that fumble?
Which fumble are we talking about? The Auburn fumble or I'll give you both of them. First and foremost, the Auburn fumble was initially ruled an incomplete pass. And then they went back and reviewed it after they had a delay of game penalty and said it was a fumble. The one from Ball State was ruled that his forward progress had stopped. Therefore, the play was dead. So it was not a fumble.
Right. Dustin Pace with a super chat. Appreciate you, man. Says, a woman somewhere in the world went into labor and gave birth to a child all in the time it took these refs to review that fumble. What are we doing? I believe he's referring to the fumble that was the call that was overturned to a fumble for Ball State. And I guess part of that too was reviewing to determine if Ball State actually recovered it, because again they blew it dead and never did.
The super long review was on the Auburn fumble. That's the one that was taking forever.
Gotcha.
Like, but again, I didn't. So maybe the announcers said this, and my only assumption is the reason why they could go back and review this is because it was a dead ball penalty. I don't understand how you call a delay of game, because that's technically a whole other play in which you called and marked off,
right?
And then you went back and reviewed the play before that. Like, I don't get that. Like, how is that a thing?
Yeah, if you're going to uphold the penalty, then the previous play is dead. Like, you can't even go back to review that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, so if it had been a pre-snap penalty, like a false start, do you still get to go review the pre? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I know they didn't snap the ball, but I was just like, why are we even reviewing something? You guys called the penalty already. So whatever.
Yeah. Ronte says we should have came out and ran, let pass be natural. Thoughts on that?
Sure. If you wanted to just score as many points as you wanted to score and make it look good. But if you want to try to work on the this is where, like, the fan base was divided. I actually agree with you, right? Like, go out and just run your offense however you're gonna run it and take whatever they're giving you. But there were so many people like, no, we got to work on the pass game. No, we got to work on the pass game. We need to make sure. And so that's the option that they took to say, we're gonna win this game, but we're going to try to work on our pass concepts, and we're going to do it in our drop back passing game, not out of RPO, and see how we can do that stuff while we have an opponent that we can afford to make some mistakes against. I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at it either.
But again, you score 42 points doing that when you essentially took your easy stuff out of the playbook, the stuff you can execute really well out of the playbook. That's still pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not like, some other team that lost last week and then you have to go and blow another team out so you can feel better about yourself. You already had your win against your P4 contest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shots. I'm here for it. Chris K, member for 54 months. Thanks, Chris K. Appreciate you, man. That score was 42-0. You can't change my mind. The refs stole that deserved shutout. It's 42-0 in our hearts, for sure.
It should be. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, that whatever, bro. I ain't gonna linger on it. We got plenty of time to talk about how they got robbed. But still, in all that, they still only gave up 3. They was like, okay, you're not getting in the end zone though. Like, you can have this little cheap field goal. You're not getting in the end zone.
Yeah, agreed. Heavy with the $5 super says Sylvester told Champ, "Hold my beer." Yeah. Could you imagine him and Champ in the secondary just baptizing receivers, or who anyone dares to step into the secondary? Like, that's becoming a no-fly zone. Like, if he's going to be hitting like that, that's a no-fly zone. Like,
yeah. Listen, and you're not even, like, again, I think I said it in the pregame. Caleb Harris is hurt right now, so he's not even 100%. So, like, it's like you have a rotation of guys at safety and nickel right now that just might behead somebody before the end of this season is over. It just might, because they've been giving they've been tapping a couple folks where it's like, hey, we here, don't bring that weak stuff over here, bro.
Yeah. All right. High Tide Fishing says you'll have been a shutout, but Ball State used their players' dads as refs.
That's what it felt like. It felt like your dad was in there like, no, give him the ball back.
That's pretty funny.
Penalty. Y'all had 11 players on the field. You was only supposed to have 10 on this play because they were supposed to be able to get yards. No, do it again.
Yeah. Mr. Sip gifted 5 Warport memberships. Thank you and congrats on
y'all's win, man. Because I sure picked up Arizona State to win that game.
I thought they were going to win it too, but listen, the Cowbells pulled them through and they got the dub. So congrats to Mississippi State, 2-0 in the season. That's a huge win for them. To see how that boosts them forward in SEC play. So Nina, Super Chat says, can we replay Coach Hugh Freeze chewing out the Hugh Freeze was heated.
But he had every right to be, bro. Like, do not rob my guys of this. That's not, like, what are y'all doing? Because again, that entire sequence was crazy. It wasn't like it was just like one missed call. It's like y'all missed like 4 calls in the span of 5 plays, bro. Like, what are y'all doing out here?
Yeah. All right, let me see here. So Nina comes back and asks, so Ike, what did you think of the new light show? Were you able to catch it, Ike, or were you out of there by then?
Nah. Like, I specifically stayed, and that's why it took me so long to get. I specifically stayed until the light show was over with before I dipped up out of there. I should have packed my stuff up first and then did. But anyway, but yes, the light show, it was cool. Like, I mean, definitely, it probably feels very different inside the stadium. You know, I was up in the booth. But yeah, it definitely adds a different element to the night game, especially if Auburn's winning going into that fourth quarter, or it's a close game and you get that. Like, I can definitely, if this had been a bigger game, I think that energy would have been super crazy when that light show started.
All right, here. Let's see. J-Rock says it was clear Hugh Freeze was working on the drop back passing game. Yeah, you didn't see a lot of RPO in this game. Did not see a lot of that at all. So let me get to Chris Jones, gifted 5 World Report memberships. And Prentice Jones says, shoot, Sylvester is playing like Junior Rose Green Jr.
Junior. Yeah, man. I mean, listen. But again, I have never seen him play that way. This is the same guy, mind you, that Cole Kublik called out last year saying he looks like he doesn't want to tackle people. Right.
He took that personal.
Yeah, I don't listen. I didn't even see this last week. You feel me? It's not like he came into the season. It was like whatever happened between last Friday and today. I don't know if somebody like talked bad about his mama on the
Hey,
Ball State. That boy came in here today and was like, "I am wrecking fools, and I don't
he
care what y'all."
played like he ain't said nothing all week. He just said, "I bet," and didn't say nothing else to this game, and just came out here and just decleated people left.
The first hit on that daggone kickoff return, I was just like, "Yo, who was that?"
Yeah, it
And
was
then he came downhill on this screen. I was like, "Yo." I'm sitting. I swear, you could ask Mike. He's about to come into the studio. You could ask him. I was like, "Was that Sylvester Smith again?"
yeah,
I was just shocked every time he hit somebody. I was like, "Oh my goodness, bro! Like he is angry, and he's
buddy.
taking it out on Cardinals."
Animal cruelty. We got Mike G who's ready to report. Mike, you ready to come on in? Mike's ready to come in. Mike G, how you doing, sir?
Good, good. We just got out of the post-game press conference. Hugh said, opened by saying he's sure he could find some things to nitpick about this performance, especially offensively. But he started by praising his defense. Felt like they really did a good job tonight. As you guys probably saw the box score, Auburn allowing -3 yards rushing on the night, only 65 yards total. I know the opponent has to be considered, but to hold any football team to under 100 yards total is great. I heard Ike talking about Sylvester Smith. He was just all over the place, man. He was a living, walking hit stick tonight. Auburn was physical. They played with aggression on defense. Hugh says he likes that. He also went on to say that, he's got a lot of faith in Jackson Arnold. Jackson was 24 of 28 on the night. They only called one designed QB run tonight. And the rest was all Jackson just doing kind of what he did. Jackson Arnold, there's a little bit of a different format for these pressers. Jackson Arnold was on the podium with Hugh Freeze. Usually we get the players after. But, he talked about what it meant for him to get his first win in Jordan-Hare, praised his receivers, praised his coach for putting faith in him when others wouldn't. Look, it wasn't perfect, but I think this performance says a lot about Auburn. It's that they didn't play a good, a great game. I wouldn't say they played a great game tonight offensively, and they still blew Ball State out. So, look, man, there's room to improve from here. I think they're going to try to do it. But Hugh Freeze said they aim to be more balanced on offense in this game, and you could tell by how much they threw the ball.
Almost 5 yards short of 500 yards total of offense, Mike. Ball State was able to get to Jackson Arnold 5 times. Did Hugh Freeze talk about pass pro or any concerns about what you were able to see in the passing attack there?
Surprisingly, no comments on the offensive line in this presser. Okay. So we'll post that up on the channel for everybody here as soon as you guys are done. I can get that up for all our listeners. But yeah, no comments about the offensive line. Just felt like they did some things great offensively. He talked about his running backs, talked about Darrell Robinson. He was asked about Damari Alston being out. And, he said, look, man, we want to take care of Damari because we don't want to be caught in a position where we're heading into SEC play without him. So they really aimed to just kind of get healthy during this one and figure out some things, get some things on tape to work on offensively.
Did he speak much about Jeremiah Cobb? That was his first 100-yard rushing game. He did it on 11 carries, averaging 11 yards a carry. That's insane, Mike. Did Hugh Freeze talk much about him?
He highlighted exactly that. Yards per carry is the stat that he feels like is the most important. So how effective are you with the carries that you get? They feel like Jeremiah did a great job of that tonight in relief of Damari Alston. But he also, like what Omar did out there and Darrell Robinson, I mean, look, Auburn is stacked at running back. Most people are not going to be able to see past the first string there, but they've got some guys who can really tote the rock. So great experience for Jeremiah being the primary ball carrier
now. Auburn fans got to see Deuce Knight step out on the field for the first time, and he was able to lead a few series. Again, he looked like a freshman at times, but I think as he began to have more series, he began to settle in. I think a lot of it was hype from a kid playing his first game under the lights in Jordan-Hare. What did Hugh Freeze? Did anyone ask him about Deuce Knight and what he thought about how he looked?
They did. And he said, I'm surprised he didn't complete more balls because every time they're in practice or in a scrimmage or in a mock game scenario, he completes everything. So he said exactly what you just said. Look, man, he's young. He'll work through that. But he was just a little surprised Deuce didn't go out there and light it up. They certainly gave him an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
But you got to make the throws when they're there. I chalk that up to, first game jitters.
Yeah, he seemed real juiced up at when he first got out there, and the dude can spin the ball. By the way, goodness gracious, he has a cannon for an arm. Mike, was there any other talk about, I guess, defensively? I was pleased with what I saw. Me and Ike talked about Xavier Atkins, linebacker. I thought the linebackers had a good. They were just playing downhill all game long. They were just in attack mode. Any other comments about defensively what you saw from those guys?
Yeah, he was asked about Xavier specifically, and he said, "Look, Xavier's in the locker room shooting some TikToks right now, and I hope he's getting some good ones. He tried to get me in one, but they're celebrating that performance in the locker room via TikTok. Look, man, he liked what Xavier was doing out there. Auburn had a lot of standout guys defensively tonight. I thought it was a great performance by them. They gave up nothing in the run game, which is a continuation of what happened at Baylor in Waco. And tonight, it was just more of the same. Those guys are stingy in the run game. They are not going. They take a lot of pride in. You're not going to get anything between the tackles. Good luck with that. We're going to sell out. We're going to take your lunch every time you get the ball down there. So, look, Xavier and the boys. Now, I thought they did a great job tonight, and they just got to continue that headed into South Alabama and eventually Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, what's the takeaway, Mike, from this game in your opinion? What's kind of the mood of this team going into Game 3?
Look, winning is fun, and they didn't do a lot of that last year. So the mood is these guys are having fun. You can tell they're smiling. They feel great about where the team is at, but everybody understands that they've got a lot of improvement they've got to make between now and the time they head to Norman. Because I'm telling you, the team that I saw tonight, and Oklahoma and Michigan are playing as we speak. I don't know what the score of that game is. Michigan was down 8 points last time I checked.
24-13, I think.
Okay, all right. So Oklahoma scored another field goal. But,
yeah.
Look, the team I saw tonight, it's going to be a real tight game in Norman. If you ask me, defensively, this will be a defensive battle. But offensively, I think if Auburn doesn't improve some of the things that we saw, they could get beat in Norman. So, look, man, these are going to be two very good football teams that square off in a couple weeks. But they know that they're not anywhere near where they need to be offensively, which I think is a good attitude to have because they've got the firepower. They tried to get the ball to Cam Coleman early, and they did that. But there were some missed opportunities out there. And it feels hard to say that when Jackson Arnold was 24 for 28 passing the ball. But they also, like you said, they got to Jackson Arnold. And they're going to have to protect him a little better, in 2 weeks.
Mike G, we appreciate you reporting after the post game. You're definitely going to be on with us tomorrow with the weekend tailgate where you'll give more of your thoughts on what you saw. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man. That is Mike G joining us. Ike, what are your thoughts about, I guess, the mood with this Auburn team? And it seems like a team that is beginning to build some confidence. I think we'll really begin to see how this team looks, especially after week 3 going into Norman in week 4. How do you feel about how this team is progressing so far? It's just been 2 weeks so far, but they're obviously trying to work on some of their weaknesses, getting ready for SEC play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't have any major issues with anything I saw tonight. Now, again, there are issues. It wasn't a flawless game. But when you purposefully are trying to put this is, I was saying this to Mike. I was like, y'all are being mean, bro. No, I was saying this to you. I was like, why are y'all being mean? At the end of the half, they kept calling timeouts trying to get the ball back. And it was 30 seconds. I was like, stop, man. Leave these folks alone, man. Like, because it's almost like, man, we know we're going to get the ball back, but let's try to see if we can get good field position and run some stuff real quick to go try to get a field. It's like they were treating this like a scrimmage that's how much it's because it's low key disrespectful. I ain't gonna hold it. Like it's low key like we know you can't do nothing for real anyway. So let me just try to work on something else.
Right.
Like they were just out there trying stuff. It's like, all right, cool. Let's put this dude in over here and let's see how he does over here. And let's see if we can run this play right here. We need to work on this. Let's go work on this drive. It wasn't like this is how we want to attack Ball State. It was like, what have we not run well in practice? Let's try it out here in the game.
We got another situational thing we can work. Let's work on that. Let's work on our 2 men in here. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let's get back to some of you guys' comments here. Aunt Robinson says the swag is the key.
Listen, when you play with confidence and with swagger, it definitely shows itself out there.
Yeah,
it does. And this team defensively, they found their swagger tonight. They did. Like the little goofy TikTok dance that Jackson Arnold was doing in the first game. You saw a lot of defensive players doing that in the game tonight. Like it's just they were feeling like, yeah, this is how this is supposed to be. And again, I get it's Ball State, and you don't want to be overconfident about that game. But what you do want to do is get yourself in a position where you're feeling like, okay, I'm back to feeling like me again.
Yeah. Agreed. The Headless Horseman says, if you missed it, go back and watch ULM's punter rock Bama's punt returner. It was fantastic.
I mean, I guess they got to have at least one highlight from that game because they got rocked on the scoreboard. So,
yeah. All right. I think it's a Smith with a 7 there. It says, put that Cam Coleman stiff arm stare down on a T-shirt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he stiff armed someone seriously in the second half there. Good game from him. 7 catches, 77 yards. Would have liked to have seen him get over the century mark receiving, but had a good game nonetheless. They definitely tried to get him the ball early and often. He was targeted early and often. 7 catches, the leading receiver. Had a pretty good night. Lee Harrell says, is Deuce really QB2? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, was there a question about whether or not he should be? I don't know. I guess I need more information. But yes, he is QB2. Coach Hugh Freeze has made it pretty clear that he wants to try to redshirt Ashton Daniels as well this season. So he really wants to redshirt both of them, if he can, so that he has 2 competent quarterbacks going into next season.
Interesting.
Well, I guess he could still have 3, depending on what happens with Jackson Arnold. But yeah, he wants both of them to redshirt.
Interesting. Chris Jones, member for 2 years. Thank you, or more than that, isn't it? That's what. Yeah, it's 4 years.
4 years. Yeah,
reading that wrong. Tonight was definitely a performance to build from. A lot of things to correct and get better. Agreed, Chris. Definitely agree. There's a lot of things that they can correct and get. And the beauty of it is you don't have to do it within SEC play. You can clean a lot of this stuff up going into SEC play. There's a lot of, and what's comforting about it, Ike, there's not a lot of glaring issues. And again, you shouldn't be playing bad against that type of competition anyway. But it's encouraging that Auburn has yet to throw an interception.
Because at this point last season, they had like 5 of them joints.
Yeah. Hey, Ike. We were looking like Ole Miss. Last, you know what I mean? The way they look this year, that's how we looked last year. So I'm happy to say that throwing picks, plural, isn't one of our issues. Jackson Arnold will throw an interception eventually, but that's not a glaring issue and a problem now. Again, you have a QB who's making good decisions for the most part. There's just aspects of his game from a drop back passing standpoint that the coaching staff wants to clean up.
Right.
Any other closing thoughts, man, before we get out of here? We appreciate everyone for hanging out with us late post game on this. Any closing thoughts, Ike?
Listen, Green Name Gang, be ready for this film review because we definitely have a lot of things that we need to go and take a look at. But again, maybe I'm just the big apologist but I don't want people to walk away from this game, because I see a lot of people in the comments saying, "Oh man, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that," and I don't know. Like maybe I'm too into my book right now that I just don't see worry. I see areas for improvement, but I don't see things that aren't fixable. Like I don't see last week. Okay, man, they had an issue with tackling and getting coverages correct. They fixed that in a week against very similar type. Now again, you're not playing Sawyer Robertson and those athletes, but you're not really going to see Sawyer Robertson and those athletes ever again this season, because there aren't teams that have the same kind of caliber of playmakers. The tackling, they did much better job of that. They were getting after the quarterback this week. Last week, they quote unquote couldn't throw the ball. This week, all they did was try to throw the ball, and he did that, I think, fairly well. I mean, shoot, he was accurate on the throws that he had. Like, so again, I want people to stop waiting for a reason to be let down. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, no, because if I get my hopes up, they're going to hurt me. Just look, man, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to look you real. I'm going to look like it, right? It's okay. You're okay. Calm down. It's not all bad, I promise. Okay. We'll be all right. Shake my hand.
Auburn is on a collision course with Oklahoma. I'm eager to see them take another step in a positive direction next week against South Alabama. Again, this team could have put up more points, but this was an opportunity for them to work on some of their weaknesses. And I think they put enough on film to be able to build upon and work. But again, I think you have Mike said something I think was very important. Hugh Freeze has a QB he trusts. And I think that's the big win here for me, is that Auburn has a QB that the head coach trusts, and the numbers show it. Right after 2 weeks, he hasn't turned the ball over. He clearly is he's dangerous with his legs, but he proved he can get the ball to receivers, and I think that's comforting to see. And I'm curious to see how they begin to put this offensive attack together as defenses begin to show them different looks in the weeks ahead. So eager to see that. We will be back here, guys, tomorrow with the weekend tailgate at our normal time, where Mike G will be on to give his additional thoughts on the game. Definitely smash that like button. Become a member of the Green Name Gang, everyone. You already know how to follow us on social media, guys. You can find us at The War Report on Instagram as well as X. You can also find us TW Report on TikTok. We're going to sign off for now, guys, but we'll be back to give more analysis on the game on the weekend tailgate as we preview or begin to talk about week 3. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. And as always, where you go?